Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is well. I am truly excited about tonight. I'm always excited, because it's a brand new day, and I am excited that God's grace and mercy kissed me this morning. And I'm excited every day because it's a new day to start my journey and to live fully in my Black Boy Joy. I'm so excited that you joined us on another episode of Black Boy Joy. This is our 8th episode, and I'm truly excited that tonight are going to have a phenomenal guest. He's an author and love coach, and as well as founder of a brand new group, Mogul in the Making. And he has inspired me a great deal. And as we were preparing to come on for the conversation, I was really excited about tonight's Black Boy Joy conversations. Thank you all for your love, your support, your continued support. Those that are with us, we actually got some comments already. Hey, Tamora, thank you for being with us tonight. I'm again so appreciative of your likes, your comments, and your shares. Tonight we're doing different. Tonight this is about everybody. Of course, Black Boy Joy conversation is for and about everybody, but tonight talking about some love and what successful love looks like, and mogul love and mogul in the making and things like that. So I don't want to not bring on our guests, but I want to just again say to those that are watching, that are subscribing, that are following and sharing, commenting, thank you so much, and we're excited. And I want to go ahead and introduce our guest for the evening. His name is Byron Jamal. What up, brother?
What's going on, brethren?
How are you tonight?
I'm blessed, man. I am so excited. I'm here in Savannah. Took a little vacation from Atlanta, so I'm excited to be here, rest and truly relax. So this is going to be a great talk. And plus, I have my glass of wine, so we are ready.
There is no conversation without a libation.
Hello, not at all.
So I'm glad that you've got you some wine and that you're with us. I want to first say, if Bay is watching or somewhere nearby, thank you, Bay, for sharing Byron with us for these couple of minutes that he can be with us tonight, because this is vacation. So we appreciate you being with us on tonight. And Savannah, Georgia, that's you get to go to the beach yet, or how is?
Oh yeah, we got in today. We got to the beach today. Spent a good amount of time out there. I got a little tan. You can't see it, but I got a little tan, and so I'm feeling my Black Boy Joy right now.
Nice. I appreciate that. So, since you said that, tell us a little bit about what is your Black Boy Joy and how it shows up.
Absolutely, my Black Boy Joy is the ability to keep loving myself through the process. Let me tell you something. I honestly have learned that I don't know anything about myself until I learn it. And that's okay. I don't have to think I know myself. In fact, it is arrogance and pride, because I've lived a little bit long enough to realize the moment I think I know myself and I learn something else, I realized, man, the last 10 years, I was not knowing myself. So being okay with discovering myself all over again, or new pieces of me, I find so much joy in that now. Instead of being sad and upset and frustrated about learning more, I actually celebrate it, because I'm like, man, I must be getting a little bit wiser. I must be digging a little deeper. And so it's more of a revelation of my growth instead of failure.
Nice. I love that, the self-discovery and learning to love yourself. Tonight we're going to talk about your latest book that you just wrote, Successful Love.
Hey.
As people can see, this is how I read.
Yes.
So it helps me to think about some places in conversation of it's sort of highlighting. So yeah, the nerd in me. But I'm excited. I got the book on Saturday, and as you see, I've been thumbing through it and reading it. Getting ready for tonight, but also just any content that you put out has been really legit, life-saving for me. I want to say thank you again for all that you do. And so just if you don't mind, before we really dig into some of this conversation, tell people a little bit about what you do and as a love coach. And
Absolutely. I mean, well, let me tell you a little bit. In a short synopsis, I am a former pastor, suicide survivor, abuse victim. I've been somebody who's also been molested, and I have overcome a lot of cheating, lying, and deception. And I am now in a space where I can say that I 100% love myself. And like I mentioned earlier, through it all, learning myself. I didn't say I know myself. I said I love myself. And in that process, I'm helping other people discover how to love themselves
Mm.
along the journey. So, as a love coach, I'm actually recently I've been told I need to upgrade because I'm now, I guess, a love and success coach, because the two things most people need is love and success. And I've always done leadership development. And so now that I'm merging love and my mogul in the making work together, love and success is what I'm doing. So I'm helping people not just in their love lives, but in their financial, economic, and entrepreneurial journeys. So I'm excited about what's happening because everybody wants a little money in the bank and everybody wants a little boo in the bank in the bed. So I'm excited to help everybody to find those things all together.
Nice, nice. And so, with the entrepreneur program you're talking about, or the business that you're starting, if you don't mind touching a little bit about that. Again, I want to get all the introduction, all that good stuff, because I want to get to the deliciousness of this conversation.
I'm with you, man. Let's dive in. So, Mogul in the Making is a Facebook group right now. It's a vision that I've had for over a decade, and I didn't know when to launch it. But I was talking with a multimillionaire business mentor of mine, and she said, this idea could change your life. This idea could not only change your life, but the lives of entrepreneurs all across the world. She said, you need to take some time, pray about it a little bit more, but you need to put this out this year. And so that's what I did. A day later, we had over 100 people in, and we're growing steadily. We had people that are diving in to want to connect with the group who are master entrepreneurs. These people are six-figure income earners who have built brands on their own and have developed and learned from the mistakes of their past. And so I'm so excited. I have an event coming up through Mogul in the Making on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have some dynamic speakers coming in to talk about how to build a mogul level brand. If you don't know about branding, baby, like everything is built on your brand. The
It is.
reason why you have one customer is not just because they like you, it's because you have a brand that they identify with. So how to build your brand is our number one starting point, and I'm excited about where we're going from here. So tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. if you're free. I'm looking forward to everybody learning something, and it's free. So we're giving this away. That was my vision, to do something for our community that would help us as entrepreneurs and professionals grow and develop into the people we deserve to be.
That's awesome. I so appreciate you doing that. I was glad and appreciative that I got my invite. When I saw it, I was like, wait, what is this? Okay, I'm with it. And it's it's growing. I see the growth in it. Guys, if you're listening and you're watching, do me a favor. Don't just open up another screen or whatever, and open up Mogul in the Making, or Google, not Google, search for Mogul in the Making on Facebook. Can anybody just join, or how do they?
You can get invited if they're doing it right now. They're automatically invited because I know they probably came through this. So that'll be on you. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, okay. And so someone's already just said, where do we tune in tomorrow? We'll have
It's
that.
you tune in the group. So that's why you got to be a member, because we're giving it away for free. Membership is free, but you got to be in the group. So join the group, come on in, and it's free to watch and interact and learn.
Absolutely. So they can join it. If you are watching and you are wanting to be a part of that, shoot me a DM or a message, or just like it, and I'll make sure that I get the invite passed on to you. Make sure you've got a business and that you're a mogul in the making, and get you invited to join us.
We take aspiring entrepreneurs too, because we're helping to build new people who want to build their businesses. So I'm
Okay.
excited. I got some young realtors, some young people who are coming up in politics. There's a lot of people that are like, in the next year, I'm doing something, but I want to know now so I can be ready, even more prepared when the time comes. So that we accept those people as well.
I love it. I love it. And you saying that makes me think about, and I'll just be completely transparent with our audience tonight. I am a success of your love coach program, and um, and greatly appreciative of that program. And something that you always say, and I say this to tie with Mogul in the Making, is that you gotta be ready for it, prepare yourself. And so I want to talk about Successful Love is
Yes.
super amazing, really good. I got some points that I want to talk about, but I want to talk about that book that you wrote, the first one that I got myself for Christmas, Unlovable.
Ooh,
Unlovable.
that's
So
no joke, brother.
that book was, gut wrenching. And one of the things I loved about that book and just the title and so forth was something that I began to realize is that I can have unconditional love for others, but not for myself.
Come on.
Sometimes you can see yourself as unlovable. And so that awareness, because, I love everybody, I love everybody. And learning that you don't have the same grace or compassion for yourself that you have for others and the unconditional love. Where did unlovable come from?
Great question. I actually wrote that when I was out of work. I got my job got terminated. And so I was spending a month while I was looking for jobs. I was spending a month catching up with friends because in my career I've been extremely busy. So I caught up with some friends by traveling up the East Coast, all the way from Atlanta all the way up to New York. I met a friend in Boston. We came back to New York, hung out, and then I drove back down. During that time, these characters came in my head, and these three central characters: a pastor who was alcoholic, taking over his father's church, who had a mega church, historic mega church. The father was a civil rights activist and very well known in the community, but was abusive as well. And so this pastor was wrestling with alcoholism and dealing with leading a congregation. It also had a young Latina woman who was a noble mother, admirable mother, but she was trying to make ends meet and took on stripping. She discovered she had HIV through the process and is now wrestling with what that means for her life. And then there was this athlete who his father was a millionaire doing extreme business and all these things, but he has lost his identity and was trying to find himself through his sexuality. And going to this historic school in Charlotte, he found himself, but it was a very painful journey. Look, that book, the reason why those three characters spoke to me is because you had a pastor, and pastor, we think you got it together. Right?
Mhm.
Spiritually, you must have it together. And then
Mhm.
you have a stripper, and we think the low of the low, like not low down, but like we don't respect that as much unless you're throwing dollar bills.
Mhm.
And then you have the athletes, and these are the entertainers, the artists, the celebrities that we give claps to and we throw our dollars at, the Beyoncés of the world. And in all of that, at all tiers of life, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, you can still feel unlovable.
Mhm.
And that was the point I was trying to make, that a title doesn't stop you or prevent you from feeling unlovable. In fact, having a lot of money doesn't. Having a lot of people love you and say great things about you doesn't stop you, because that is a feeling. You have to stop feeling yourself.
Mhm.
And that was the power of why those characters spoke to me, because I was going through my own moment of feeling unlovable, and I felt all of those things at the same time, just like every character in some way, shape, or form. And they spoke healing into my life, and I just wrote their stories, and they gave me what I needed.
Wow, powerful. One of the things about that book, as you talked about the three different characters, um, uh, was hearing the stories, how they were woven together. But as you mentioned a few moments ago, we can get all these accolades and all these wonderful things, but you're still lacking and missing love. And so
Yes.
I think that is a big problem today, that we're missing. You're looking at a lot of relationships. You're looking at a lot of whether they be marriages or romantic relationship partnerships and things like that. There is that lack of loving yourself
Mm.
that happens, and if you can't love yourself, I now really get it. I remember hearing that before. You can't love yourself, you really can't love anyone else. And
No.
you're doing yourself a disservice. You're pouring from an empty cup. And so, that book was amazing. I think that, um, how did you get from unlovable to successful love? Is
Well, it's been a great journey. Successful love was I was in a space where I needed to talk about the journey of love because a lot of people are looking for benchmarks. And when I say a benchmark, some people just want to bang. They just want to be in a relationship. They just want to be in a relationship. If I can get to a relationship, I'll be all right. If I can just get somebody to say, drop on a knee and say, will you marry me? I'll be all right. If I can get the ring on my finger, I will be all right. And all of those are achievements. But the problem is that just like the Olympic runner that has trained for months and years to win the gold medal, once they win it, a lot of them feel lost. A lot of Olympians, after they win a medal and they've reached the height of what they wanted, they have no plan for afterwards. They feel lost. They feel despondent. They're trying to find purpose again. That's not the goal of love, though. And I know a lot of people who have gotten in relationships and the goal was the relationship and they don't know what to do after the relationship because all they prepared for was to be in a relationship. They know how to be a good partner, but they don't know what it means to work a relationship out. That's the rest of the journey. And
Yeah,
so love is not a destination, it is a journey. And when you realize that you just got to stay open. You got to say, look, I'm not worried about the destination. I'm not worried about an achievement. I'm worried about phasing through, learning what I need to know on one phase so I can be prepared for the next. And I'm so prepared for the in the space that I'm in because in my single phase, I prepared as a single that now when I move into the dating phase, I'm so good at dating because I prepared as a single. And so now when I move into a relationship because I was a good single and I dated well, now I'm prepared to be in a relationship. And then because I did relationships so well, I learned it, I mastered it. Now, when I get engaged, I can move into that phase with more clarity and ease. People want to jump, but you
yeah,
miss. Look, try to go to college without having taken arithmetic. This is what we do in love. We
yeah.
want to go take collegiate level courses before we have even done the fundamentals in ourselves. And
Mm.
so that's why successful love was so necessary in my heart. It was to help slow people down and say, baby, you don't need a matchmaking service. You need to match with yourself.
That's so good. Matching with yourself,
Mhm.
finding love within yourself. Um, one of the things that I loved about just the book in itself is one is the different phases. So, guys, again, the book is called Successful Love, Navigating the Power of Love. You said that love is a journey. I support that, so celebrate that because I think life is a journey, and on that journey, you got love, you got joy, and all of them trying to meet up with you to
Yes.
live your life. And how do you find how do you find that how did you find that light or that love to start loving yourself? What do you recommend to someone?
First thing I would say, my brother, and that's probably one of the hardest questions for a lot of people, but it's one of the easiest things once you mentally shift your mind about it. Look, loving yourself is as easy as saying I am, and I am enough. I am enough as I am. I'll tell a quick story, and this kind of sums up why this book was so necessary for me and where love has taken me. When I was in elementary school, we had an assignment to work with clay. And in working with the clay, we were told to design something for our parents. So most kids were designing like vases and some kids seriously did ashtrays because their parents smoked so much. Some people did flower pots. Some of the kids did flower pots. So it was all little simple, nice things, right?
Mhm.
I decided because my dad worked so hard, Jamaican man, he would come home working multiple jobs and he would sit in front of his chair and watch TV and we would leave him alone because we knew he needed to relax. And that was cool. So I decided to honor him by doing a bear in a chair. The bear was because he likes bears. So bear in a chair watching TV. Well, I started working with the clay. And very quickly, it didn't take long at all. I realized that I don't know what the hell I'm doing with clay, right?
Right.
So I am molding this thing, and this thing turns out to look more like a wounded dog in a beanbag chair. because the chair had no legs. Literally, I didn't even have time to make the TV. This was horrible. Okay, so I am this kid crying, giving my teacher this thing because I know like this is terrible. And so she's like, "Don't worry, Byron. We're gonna put it in the oven so it can get hard, and tomorrow we'll paint it, and so you can decorate it the way you want at least, right? You can make up for what you feel like is a deficit." Well, I went home and I started thinking I can make something real elaborate right now. I can come up with some great colors my dad has never seen before. Well, the teacher didn't tell me when I got to school the next day that by making this mixture of colors, even though it looked good in the palette that I made, that when it went in the oven, the heat was going to adjust the color, and so it wouldn't look just like I had planned. That's heat normally does that. It normally changes things.
Right,
And
right.
so I got it back the next day and I started crying again. And I had to take this thing home to my parents. So to sum it up, I went home and I presented it to my mom and dad. And I was crying. I was like, this is terrible. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to make it something nice. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It doesn't look like I wanted it to look. And my mom took it and she started crying and she said, this is so beautiful. And she put it on our mantle, which is a place of honor and distinction in our home. And years later, it took me a long time to figure this out, but years later, I began to understand what that meant. It meant that she didn't love it because it didn't look good. Let's be honest, right? But she loved it because of who made it. And I started realizing in that moment that it's not about you loving your creation because you think it's looking so perfect. And it's look, the truth is a lot of us are lumpy, bumpy. We got some flaws. We got some challenges. We got some things that didn't turn out the way we expected. But it's because of who made us that we have got to love ourselves, because we weren't, when I made that, even though it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to present to my parents, it was made with love, and it was made with intention, and it was made with my creative mind, the best I could come up with. Let me tell you, you have a master designer that has made you and created you and designed you just the way you needed to be. If you can't find any other reason to love yourself because of who made you, not for what you turned out to be.
Wow, that is so good. That is so good. Loving yourself for who made you, because something that we've talked about that I take away from that is you were created with everything inside of you that you need.
Everything.
We have this, so whether society or social norms or whatever, life makes you feel as though there's a deficit. And, I've been in this space of abundance, whereas the abundance is, I've got everything I need. I just need to dig a little deeper, and loving that, like you said a few moments ago about the loving the creator. You've got bumps, you've got lumps, you've got scars, you've got all those different things. But at the end of the day, if you love the creator and know that you were made perfect, but it's a journey. It's a journey. It's such a beautiful journey. And loving yourself means, for me, loving myself means that there are times that I'm happy with myself, and there are times where I'm not as happy, and reminding myself to show grace.
Yeah.
And I never forget, there were two questions you asked me. You and I were talking one time, and you said to me, Ryan, what would you tell someone that you were talking to when this comes up? And I'm like, I'd say this and I'd say this. And you were like, well, maybe you should tell yourself that, and that's what loving yourself looks like, having that unconditional love. One of the things that that I loved about the book, the different phases, I want to, talk about that a little bit more. The different phases is a journey within each phase. And you have something here that was, I have it highlighted. Let me go to it. It is about habits. About habits.
Yes. Talk about that.
The journey to awakening commitment. So the habits, I think, what are the 7 habits that you have in here? Where did that come from? Like,
well, let me tell you something. That part is in the space of really dealing with relationships. And for many of us, you've been single more than you've been dating or you've been in a relationship. You have created succinct habits for your
Mhm.
singleness, right?
Mhm.
You have developed habits that are daily ingrained based on your individual singleness. And that's okay. As I mentioned in the book, singleness is selfishness. It's your opportunity to find yourself. That means you get to make your own time. You get to do all the things for you. You get to focus on you. You get to do your own career. Do whatever you want with whatever time you have. Like right now, I asked my partner to do certain things right now because it's not just about me. We're on vacation. So for me, I am asking, and some people are like, I can't ask my partner. This is my career. This is what I still ask because I know he wants the best for me. It will be okay. But I would ask permission, if you will, because that is the right thing to do. You're not alone, but in singleness, you are. And so in the single mind, because that sounds like a single person, not a person in a
Mhm.
relationship that just said that.
Mhm.
A single person says, this is my career. This is what you have had the habit of being able to make every decision at your own time whenever you wanted to.
Mhm.
And so you have to train yourself to break out of single habits in order to condition yourself to build relational habits. These are
Wow.
new habits, habits that don't look like single habits. And this is the danger of having a lot of single friends when your ultimate goal is to have a relationship, because people in relationships have different habits than people who are not. A single person can go out at 3 in the morning because they felt like it. A
Mhm.
person in a relationship who's living with their partner cannot do that unless the partner is just a person who likes to go out too, that whatever. So the goal is to begin developing habits that give or that lean and point towards who you want to be and the goal you want to reach. You will never reach the relationship phase if you are staying in a single phase mindset.
So I
And
want to
so it's
stop.
breaking it.
I want to make sure people don't miss that important part. The goal is to have habits to get to that space, not
Yeah.
get to the space immediately, but creating the habit for engagement, creating the habit for creating the habit of, when you talked about singleness, it's that boundaries.
Yes.
I have no boundaries. And I'm learning because I'm a person, I don't have a lot of boundaries. I'm learning, boundaries start with self. If you
Yes.
don't love self, if you don't have boundaries for yourself, and then that's where people come in and run amok.
Let me give you a good example because this is really relevant today, and I see this a lot, especially in the community that we are in. Where somebody, I remember when I was still dating, and I was trying to talk to someone, and they said when trying to schedule time with them, they said, "Oh, I can't do that time. I got a gym. Oh, I can't do that time. I got work. Oh, I can't do that time. I'm prepping meals. Okay, so there's no time. Well, probably not this week. Okay, well, when? Maybe in 2, 3 weeks. Okay, so here's the reality of what you don't want. You don't want a relationship because there's only
Mm.
so much time in a day. Clearly, you are single and you want to be single and you want to focus on your body, you want to focus on your job, and that's okay. But stop telling people that you want to date when you make no time for the habit of dating.
Wow.
You can't say you're a singer, even if you have a voice to sing, if you never sing. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't say you're a runner. You can't. Look, my partner will tell me all the time how he used to be this dynamic runner in high school. And I said, I've never seen you run a day in my life. But you can say you're a runner, but I never see you run.
Wow.
Okay? If I said I was a writer but never wrote anything, you would think I was crazy.
Right.
But people say they're ready to date, but have no time to date. How
Mm.
is that possible? So it's because you have a single phase mentality. You are not willing to break the habits of singleness. And so that means making time because, again, singleness is selfishness. That's when you get to be selfish. The moment you want to step into dating and every other phase that's after that, you have to start making time and space to include people into your world because that's what a relationship looks like.
Wow. That's really powerful. So in that, I want to talk about in the signals phase. There are 5 steps, and
Yes.
so I'll read those steps for us. First step one: accept what you are,
Hmm.
accept where you have been,
Yes.
accept who you are, accept where you are, and accept who loves you. And the sixth one, sorry, there's 6. Accept the challenge of loving and being loved.
Hmm.
That that's something that I know for me was a challenge, because I had to realize in this journey that how people love me is just how they that's just how they love me. It's not how I want to be loved, but
Yes.
how they love me and
Um,
accepting it. How
Absolutely.
how do you move? How do you navigate or encourage someone to move through these 6 phases?
Well, it starts with acknowledging that you are in a space where you don't know yourself and accepting yourself as you are the way you are. And what I mean by that is not lying. You know, a lot of people that I work with have masks that they are wearing. And a lot of people, when I say mask, they immediately assume it must be something sexual. It's not always the case. It could be that you are hiding your best self from yourself.
Mm,
It
mm,
is it is the higher version of yourself, the version of yourself that says, I am foregoing going on this group trip with friends who are going to party for 5 days because I know I have a business idea and that I need to implement this now because the next phase of my life demands that in the next 5 days I do something greater. It is
mm.
the version of yourself that says, I will make some sacrifices in the next few months because I need to give my time over to finishing a book, starting a business, working on my dream. It will, and it is accepting that you're not willing in the phase that you've been in to do that. It's being honest when I have chosen the lower version of myself. And
Mm.
when you accept that, you are able to say, you know what? But there is still higher. And you're able to go through it. I'm imperfect, but I deserve perfect love. The perfect love. Now we have to define that because this is big.
Right.
Perfect love is not the love that you want. It is the love that you deserve.
That's good. That's
Now,
good.
what do you deserve? You deserve what you can handle. So as I have the glass right here, right?
Right.
This glass deserves this level of fulfillment
Right. Right.
because that's what it can handle. If I had a jug that was 3 to 5 times bigger than this, it would deserve the capacity of what it can hold. Anything that you try to put this in that overflows it is wasted. So you deserve what you won't waste.
Wow. Wow. That's good. You deserve what you won't waste.
Yes.
So being appreciative and appreciating who you really are, that's good. You deserve what you won't waste. That's really,
This is,
really
this
powerful.
is why people say, I attract bad people. I'm going on bad dates. There's no good people around me. I can't find a good person. And they are living at a 5 level, 5 capacity. And so they are attracting 5s because God is not sending 6s, 7s, 8s, or 9s or 10s to waste the love that you
Mm,
can't even receive.
That's powerful because I do hear that often. I'm attracted. Why I attract other? I have asked that. Why do I attract this? And why did I? You know, and at one point there was a acceptance of maybe it's just who I am. When you say that, why do I attract people that are needy? I'm not needy, but and people's like, when you attract these type of people, you're allowed. And I'm like, I don't. And but then when you really open up your eyes and realize you are accepting the lower part of yourself, which means that you are accepting the lower part of what others give you. And so that's the space that I know that I've had to come out of and become more aware of is that, I have plenty of times accepted minute things from people that, because I don't expect much for myself, but I expect so much more for them.
That is so true, brother. Oh my God, that is so good because we are in situations often where we want these amazing people to come to us, and we don't even know how to handle the amazing love that they share with us. We waste it, but not only waste it, we cause them to be frustrated because we want them to love us, we want them to give to us, we want them to yearn for us. And I learned something. For have you ever read or do you know of the five love languages?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I had a revelation recently in another interview, and this is why I love doing interviews because I always get something out of it
Mhm.
myself as well. I know I'm still a student. I live in a constant state of receiving. And in that interview, I actually realized the reason why the love languages could be detrimental, but they're very exposing. So whatever love, hear this, whatever love language is the one that you connect with, that it says that you need, it actually is exposing the area of your weakness.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Because you should be able, hear this, you should be able to receive all forms of love, all expressions of love equally.
That's true.
If you were whole, you could
Mm,
receive all forms of love equally. But it shows, like, if you're the person that needs, and I did this with a couple the other day, if you're a person that needs a lot of words of affirmation,
mhm.
normally there's something that you did not hear as a child. Normally there's some affirmation you missed. Normally there's words that you didn't get when you needed them most. And so now you are in a deficit. And so you're requiring your partner to feel something that really you have got to heal in yourself, because that area of healing will now allow you to receive more forms of love equally.
That's good. That's good because you can cover that space that you're missing. That dealing with your inner child. I think sometimes that's really missed. Dealing with your inner child, and I
Yes.
agree with you on that five love language because you know that is some where you look at. I think when people were taking the test a couple years and years ago, they're taking these tests and they're saying, this is my love language. You gotta love me this way. You gotta love me this way. I look at love languages, and now you just give me another revelation about it. Is that I looked at love languages as it's what goes out and what comes in, how I give love and how I receive love. But
Yes.
you just brought in that space about we took so much pride and say, okay, well these are my top three, but really those top three means that's where you need the work internal for yourself.
Yes.
You know, um,
If you ever notice the ones that are the lowest, they typically have similar percentage scores. And I noticed that when I went back and looked at several people's. The percentage scores at the lowest are typically very low. They're like 12 to 15%. And in that lowness, you really are saying, hey, I'm good there. I'm solid. I'm cool on that. If love came that way, though, I would be all right. Like if it showed up, I would appreciate it. I would affirm it, and it would be cool. But there is a neediness with the ones that are high. There's a need, like the person who needs touch. Oftentimes, they are the one who is the most sexually active because they're trying to find that person that's going to touch them and make them feel what they've been missing, and the hugs they didn't get, and the love they didn't get, and they're the most active sexually normally. Like looking at it statistically, I was like, wow. But this is powerful because now you know where it's coming from,
and dealing with it.
and you can deal with it a lot clearer.
I want to take a moment, pause, and go to some of the comments. Our comment section is we have some people commenting. Tamora, she says peace and blessings. Hey, Tamora. Julian, we'll get that to you. Let's see. Hey, Albert. Albert is with us. Julian said he felt that. That's good, is what Tilden said. Jackie said, this is so true. This is true. That's good. Sonny said something. Sonny D said, or the opposite. Maybe you only received one form of love growing up, so that one language is what you're used to. You're right. If you're
No, yes, absolutely right. So if you are accustomed to something, if I like, for instance, I use this example now. So if I like the beach, we just went to the beach, right? So if I grew up on the beach, I'm used to the beach. The beach is all I know. My friends want to go on a mountain trip. I'm like, I don't want to go to the mountains. I don't want mountains. Don't give me no mountains. You know. So
Mhm.
if the person always just got hugs, they never were told they were loved. They just got a little pat on the back, and that's what they're used to.
Right.
That's like the beach. So everything else is like the mountains. So, but then you go to the mountains and you realize, oh my God, I love the mountains. Man, I could go skiing. Oh, I love looking at the view. And
Mhm.
you start realizing there's more out there. This is why I talk about when people date, they need diversity in their dating. They need diversity in their expressions of love. They need diversity in what they think. Because the things you say you don't like, especially if you haven't tried them, then you could be missing out on a whole different realm of languages of love that you actually love. And what I will say about love languages, you should be able to love everyone equally. And I go back to that. That the point this person made actually is it leads me right back into my point that you should be able to love everything, whether you're accustomed to it or you didn't get it. It's still a sign, and that sign points to what you need to work on because each form of love should be something that helps you out, that helps
Right.
you find that expression.
I think that's powerful because, like you said, each form of love shows you how to express your love. Guys, I'm putting his we put his website information on there, Byron Jamal, www.byronjamal.com to check him out as we're talking through this conversation. Don't leave this screen, but just put it in your phone or something like that. But so, how do you feel like you grow? Do you feel like you grow? Like, so you grow from words of affirmation. Now you're in the space where you want to work on acts of service, or
Mm.
how do you, what would be your recommendation for your barometer or metric to know that you're moving? There's growth.
That's powerful. I think the awareness of growth is the unease in where you are, right?
Mm.
So it feels pretty awkward. Think about this, and this is what I mean. Think about going to a kindergarten class and sitting there. How comfortable would you feel if you were there to learn?
Uncomfortable.
Why would you feel uncomfortable?
Because all the information is common sense, and it's, I got this. I know this.
Because the environment, and not to be rude, but the environment is beneath you.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So you have outgrown a space when the environment feels beneath you. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. It is awareness of who you are in the space that you've encountered. A king knows when he's in a peasant's house, if we were to go back to ancient times, and a peasant knows when the peasant's in the king's castle. You know when you're in the presence of something that is higher and lower. It's not just spiritual awareness, it is spatial awareness. It is the awareness of self, because the peasant knows, guess what? The peasant is aware of their peasantness, and the king is aware of their kingship. And when you know this is why knowing yourself is important. When you know yourself, you know where you fit.
You know where you fit. You know your place at the table. You know your
Yes.
place at the table.
Yes.
So
So
instead of you saying, I know what I bring to the table, I bring the table.
okay, let's relate this more naturally to relationships. So you have a relationship, and in the past, you have allowed some things to slide because this is the person that you were. Now, the same things you let slide are almost deal breakers for you. Like, there are things that I don't put up with that anymore. The person you were and the person you are, you have grown. You are more aware of your worth and your value. And you say, I will not wear, I used to wear the little Cracker Jack ring because to me, that was the only ring I had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I didn't understand its value. To me, it was great. To me, I could go to Chuck E. Cheese and win the little toys out of there and think those were awesome. But now those seem small. So when you know your worth, the worth of the things around you become clearer.
That's powerful. So knowing your worth means that the worth around you, things become clear. So things you don't want to be in certain environments. You don't want to be around certain people. There's certain things, you know, I've heard on, occasions, people will say, Ron, one of my friends says big time all the time, or, you're bougie. But I it wasn't before, but now I get it. It's not about that. It's just certain things I just don't care for. And it's not in my, it's like the Bible story about the prodigal son.
Yes.
You were in the castle with your daddy, and all this privilege, but you wanted to go to the hood. You wanted to see what life
Basically.
was like. You've got a whole house with maids and staff and everything else, but you choose to do that. So
You know what's funny about that story? I thought about this and I was thinking about inheritances because it doesn't say it, but it's true of the time and today. That inheritance was based on the wealth of the father's home and land at the time. So when the father hadn't died, and normally you got the inheritance when they passed. So he took a lower. Now think, this father could have earned more wealth before he passed. So he took a lower inheritance. He took a lower inheritance to leave and go do something lower than himself.
wow.
He took less worth. He took less worth. He left great worth. He took less worth that he might have gotten, and he went to a lesser place and then failed in a lesser place because great people can't survive in low places.
That's good. That's good. When you're supposed to be thriving, you're surviving. And survivalists, they know how to survive, but they don't know how to thrive. And when you know how to thrive, it becomes difficult to survive. Totally get it. Totally get it. That's so powerful. I want to be conscious of our time, and there are some great questions, and so I want to point to two of these questions because I know again Bay has allowed you to be with us tonight on vacation. Someone said, "I'm always friend zoned." What does that mean?
Well, it could mean a few things because that's very open-ended. But if you are constantly friend zoned, check yourself. It could be a lack of clarity about how you are presenting yourself to the person that you might be interested in, because you can only be friend zoned by somebody you're interested in. If they're a friend, they're a friend. So it's not a zone. It's the right positioning. So if you're being friend zoned, it means you had some interest. Maybe you didn't convey that to the person in the most clear fashion, out of fear, discomfort, or whatever else. But also, you got to thank people for if you have made it clear, and this is a big if you have made it very clear your interest in pursuing them, make sure that you're approaching the right way. But in the approach, if they reject it, if they turn you down, and I know a lot of us don't like to hear the word rejection, but the rejection is direction. It is saying this is not the right way. And I just need to stop and tell everybody to thank God for dead ends. Because when people tell you no, and when people tell you I'm not interested, and you have just saved yourself whatever time it could have took handling somebody that was playing games. So you got to thank God that they didn't waste your time, right? So thank you that you friend zoned me, that you made it clear you're not interested. If I was clear that I was interested and you said no, thank you, because now I'm not wasting my time.
That's real good. And I want to lean in on that and talk about, I know we talked about the love languages, but your attachment styles matter. How you attach. And one of the things I realized read a book, Attached Theory. So if you get successful love and attached or attachment, any book about attachments or better understand attachment styles, I learned that there's the avoidant and the anxious. It's the why must the dog in me chase the cat, or the dog chasing the cat? The anxious and avoidant personality or attachment styles is they go into this weaving and webbing, and I say that to say that sometimes when you're so preoccupied with trying to get someone to like you so much, not realizing they may not even be in a space to want to date, be available to date, can date you, your worth, or like you said earlier, it's that rejection is for your good.
Yes.
So I've learned hardly or over life, that to respect that, that if you're not in a space, it's the wrong timing.
Yes.
You can feel one thing, but you got to pay attention to what that other person is giving out. And if they're giving out, what you don't need or don't desire in a relationship, you gotta. There's so much diversity. There's so much else out there. Like they say, there's plenty of fish in the sea. So being friend zone, I think that's like you said, it speaks direction. It speaks value.
Absolutely. And the reason why that's so powerful is because let's I like to use, me, I like to use real life things that are very tangible and applicable.
Mhm.
Can clothes talk? And I know that's a silly question, but can clothes talk?
No.
Okay. But when you go in a clothing store and you see something and you want it, you buy it, right?
Right.
Okay. Now the clothes couldn't talk to you. All they could be was themselves.
Mm.
And in being itself, it was enough for you to be interested and to invest in it without it having to say one word.
Wow. That's good.
So while you're trying to do all these things to win someone's attention, a lot of times you go out of your own character, the thing that is your power, the thing that makes you attractive, the thing that makes you compelling. You go out of your character to attract somebody to want to look at you, when really being you is the thing that attracts them.
That's good. It's being you that attracts. So I'm looking, after reading the book Attached, I now realize that, because it talks about, if you're an anxious attachment style, be anxious attachment. Let yourself be who you are. Be who you are. What happens is we read so many books. We're so prompt on how to attract people, but we're not figuring out how to attach.
Yeah.
So I can attract you, but then getting you to attach is a problem, because there's parts of me you don't like. There's parts of you I don't like, because we were so busy trying to get you to like us versus just being.
Brother, let me tell you something. If you ever watched the National Geographic, and there's a lion that's creeping up on a gazelle in the wilderness, there are moments that a young lion that is not proficient at hunting will jump too early. And by jumping too early, he scares the gazelle and the gazelle runs off.
Mm.
A lot of us in our community are so excited that we done found somebody. I found somebody. Lord, I found somebody I like. And we jump so hard and so fast that gazelle just runs off.
Yep.
And we scare off people who might have been good to attach to, because we were so aggressive and so zealous in the attachment. Look, you know this. I've talked to you about this. Slowing down is the safest way to not only earn respect from somebody, but also to learn about the person that you say you're interested in. There is no fear when you go. Look, have you ever been afraid? If you ever rode like my mom, if you rode with my mom in the car, you will never be afraid, because every car is going past us, and you literally are like, all right, we're gonna get there. I mean, we're gonna get there safely, but we don't get there late, but we're gonna get there safely.
Right.
Because she is going so slow. I promise you that it is better to go slower than faster. You will always have more success. I will never coach you on how slow to go, except, not moving at all. But I will always coach slowing down, because going fast is just like on the interstate. Bigger crashes mean more dangerous crashes. You are more likely to survive in a new relationship a crash that happens when you're going slower and you're steady and you find out something, you're like, oh, that kind of hurt, but all right, I'm getting to know you still. So, but once you invest in the speed that you're going at and you're fully invested, you have put that foot on the pedal, baby, we are in here. We are in. So you better buckle up because you with me. And when you crash, now all the energy and time that you have invested, you are more hurt, you're more offended, your ego is more bruised, your pride is bashed because you have gone so fast.
Wow, wow, wow. You talking good, sir. That was to me. But I want to go to this JJ Taylor. Hey, Taylor, can you grow too much and so much whereas finding a match becomes way too tasking?
Ooh, I love this one. So this is new too. This. I wish I would have known this. Well, not known. I wish I would have put this in the book, but you get it now. When you are high quality and you have grown to the level of value that is beyond where you used to be, because remember, everything levels up and that's okay. I remember playing video games and I used to love the games specifically where I could level up because it meant that my work was showing off, that I was gaining more tools, I was gaining more equipment, I was gaining more strength. And we do that in life. We level up. What that does though, the type of vehicle, let's go to vehicles, the type of vehicle that a person will get who has $20,000. There are a lot of people who have at least 20,000 or can get a loan for 20,000 to get a car, like a Hyundai. So anybody can walk on the lot, extremely rich or not as rich, can walk on and get that. But go to a Maserati store, dealership, right? Go there. The average person is not walking into a Maserati dealership. And why is that? Because they understand the value of the vehicle. So can you grow too much? Is a Maserati too much? It's not too much to someone who can afford it. And so when you shift your mind, it's never too much. You can never grow too much. It just means that you will have fewer people who will walk on your lot. But the likelihood of them being right when you attract the right people will be easier.
So when they go on the Maserati lot, they're ready to purchase. They're not going
to. You walked on there for a reason. And see, that's the type of people you got to start attracting. You got to start attracting people that walk into your lot with a reason instead of just the jokers that are just car shopping. I'm just window shopping a Hyundai. So you window shop a Hyundai because there's 10 other lots you could go to down the street. There's 5 other dealerships with different types of cars that you could go to, but there's only one Maserati dealership.
So good question. How do you decipher or separate the ones that want a Hyundai that didn't want a Maserati? How do you differentiate, or how do you?
Well, think about the type of person that can afford a Maserati. Typically, they have decent credit. What is credit? Credit is responsibility with the things that you have said you can handle. So this is why you gotta go slow with somebody. Because to do a credit report takes a second, right? You gotta see how they handle the responsibilities in their life. How do you go to work on time? Do you pay your bills on time? How are you with your family? How do you respect your neighbors? How do you handle trash? Do you treat service people like dirt when we go out? That's all credit.
Yes.
Okay.
And some people don't have the love credit.
No, they don't, brother. They don't. And that's why you have to go slow. Look, anybody can fake when they come on the lot. Anybody can have a nice suit. They could have just left the funeral. They have a nice suit on or court. That's the other thing we say. And so they can have a nice suit on. And so it looks like they have it going on. But you can't take stuff face value. You got to see the evidence. You got to pull the report, and that comes with time. So everybody wants an instant checker. Like I click a button, they walk up and they write. But that's not how it works. Their little profile on Tinder is not going to give you enough to say that it's okay. You have got to dig in a little bit, ask the right questions, do your homework, go slow enough to where your heart's not invested so easily up front, and slow down so you get to know a person as a human before you try to make them a mate.
Wow, 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 good. How they show up. How do they show up? How do they attach? All those things. Yeah, that's important. Wow. The next question Taylor asked, and you are more intolerable than compromising. Is that selfish?
Intolerable. Look, so if you have you can eat in my Hyundai. You can eat McDonald's all day in my Hyundai. But in my Maserati, you're not going to eat McDonald's. I'm sorry. You're not going to have greasy fries dipping between the seats. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. There are certain things that you allow based on the value of what you are and what you have.
Right.
So it's not intolerable. It is selfish. And guess what? Selfishness is not always bad. It is knowing your worth. It is knowing your value. Again, there's a way that you eat at a 5-star restaurant versus eating at Moe's. There's a way that you conduct yourself. And when you have more value and you know your worth, there's a way that you expect to be treated versus when you didn't know your worth, right? And you know the difference. That is why, Ryan, I have people do their homework on how you were, because knowing how you were helps you see who you are.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Doing your homework, knowing how you were.
That's right.
Sonny D said, "Yeah, I feel there's always someone mentally and emotionally compatible, growth incompatible. We just need to find them." I agree. There's someone always compatible.
Yeah. There's a notion that there's a one. And when I first said this, me and my partner got into a little argument, but there's this notion that there's a one. And if there's a one and you've already missed them, then you're in a very bad place, right? Like that's a sad, sad state. Thank God that's not true. Thank God that there are thousands of people that you could find and they have a good heart and good energy and you could connect. It's not about this one. It is about your one choice. It is about your ability to choose the person. Look, love is more like this. Hey, I like you. I'm finding myself out more each day, and I'm hoping that you're doing the same. And as we're doing that, I would love for us to come together and help each other find out more about who we are. And as we do that, I hope that we have more love, joy, and peace together each day. Let's do this. Let's take it one day at a time and figure out how we're going to maneuver as the day comes up.
That's secure love. That's
secure love.
It's being flexible and adaptable, that you're not attached so much so to an expected end, like you said, the wedding date.
Yes.
The wedding pictures and the wedding date. I've been there where after the wedding, it's like, okay, what are we working on now? We're here.
Yes, This was supposed to be, as I told you, this vacation was originally one day. We liked it so much that we made it two. And that's what a relationship should be. It shouldn't be that we have planned to be here for a year or 10 or a lifetime, but we plan each day because at the end of the day, we realize, I like this. Let's keep going. And the next day, I like this. Let's keep going. Yeah. And on the next day, I still like this. Let's keep going. And guess what? We're going to keep growing together. We're going to keep sharing together. And the intimacy will develop roots that you won't want to leave.
Absolutely. When I first started this Black Boy Joy Conversations, I promised was only going to do one episode, and now we're at the 8th episode, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, keep going, So I totally get it, but being, it's a journey, and not being attached to an expected end. I want to get to a couple more questions, and then I know you got to go. Hey, Terrellyn, that's good, sir. She said that's good. Gary Holly. Okay, Taylor, I got you. Gary said, by asking questions to see how serious they are.
Absolutely.
Gary also said people look good on paper, but watch how they act. Ooh, our first lady, our forever first lady said it last night. present reveals who you really are on the inside. Really
Hello.
reveals who you are on the inside. When you give people
Facts.
access to you, and I take that away, is when you give people access to you, it reveals who they are on the inside. Do they appreciate you for you, the shell
Yes.
of you, or do they appreciate the inner you, the part of you that's not as shine and polished as what other
You
people?
don't know somebody's a good driver until they get behind the wheel.
Absolutely.
So you got to give them access to a vehicle to determine whether or not they are. So the access is where they get to prove whether or not they are what they said they were.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Taylor says everyone is serious about a relationship to the credit check and all these other issues appear. That's true. Knowing your worth and value is not being selfish, but it's who you are. Um, these are some good questions and good comments, preach, sir. Transferring that to humans, first you have to be a Maserati dealership, and only people who right, all those others are perpetrators. That's good, Kurt. You got perpetrators trying to come on the Maserati lot. So
Absolutely.
how do you, here's a question, and then I want to kind of go into our wrap down. How do you deal with perpetrators? Do you talk about that in your book? Like, how do you deal with love frauds or those type of people? How do you recommend dealing with them?
All right. So do I in the book? Not directly. Here's why. Because I think we do look, as human beings, we do a great job of talking about all the things that aren't working. We can talk all day about all the reasons why love doesn't work, because there are frauds, because there are imposters, because there are people playing games, because love is too hard, because there are too many people in jail, because too many people are strung out on drugs, because there's not enough single people, because not enough people are focused on. Look, we can go down a whole list. You see, the moment I start giving that list, the energy that your energy shifts into this barrage of, oh, this is what I got to overcome. It turns into a Negro spiritual. We shall, it turns into this sad song of what we have to get over. Here's the reality. I know for a fact that there is enough love out there, that there are enough people who are right and ready right now. If I was right and ready right now, if I was looking for love and I was right and ready, that there's enough right and ready people out there. I know that, look, today I didn't see a Maserati, but I know that they're being built. I know that they're being sold. I know that people are driving them. So why would I focus on somebody selling fake Maseratis when I know the real ones are out there? Am I going to put my energy on to what I know is going to be possible in a negative, or am I going to focus my energy on attracting, because positive energy attracts positive things? Am I going to put my positive energy out there so I attract the positive return that I want? It's easy to get more jokers when all you talk about are the jokers in the world. It is easy to find a criminal when you keep talking about all these criminals in the world. Look, Karens, think about Karens. Karens live in a mental state of seeing that Black people are doing negative things. So what do they see? They always see a Black person doing a negative thing, even if they're not. And that is how we think, because Anas Nin says we don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are. And so it's putting your energy into a space where you see the world in a more positive space, because you yourself are more positive. And as you become more positive, you begin to see more positive people. You begin to see at a higher level. The moment I started learning more about a millionaire mind, I started meeting more millionaires. And that is what happens. You can look, it's easy for people in the hood to find more people in the hood. Currently, right now, other than my family and a few people that I met throughout life, I don't know people in the hood, because that's not the level of life that I'm on right now. And that you will find what you keep talking about and what your energy keeps searching.
Because it's like you're looking for that. You're looking for what to check off. Like, you don't have this, versus really putting in the atmosphere what you're looking for, raising your vibe. It's like faith. I've now, through some of the work that we've done together and so forth, now my prayer or my desire is, I want to attract love. Let me have love in my life. Let me have love. Because when you have that abundance of love, the person that's for you is going to bring that abundance of love. So I'm no longer trying to attach myself to what they look like, they feel like, they all this other stuff. It's more so I want to attract love. And right now it's Jinx, my dog. You know, he
That's good.
he needs a haircut right now, y'all. But
That is good.
is running up to me and loving on me, haircut and all, kneading and all. So that's my prayer now for my desires. I attract love, and so that whatever capacity or whatever that's attached to love for me in that space, that I can receive it. That I'm not looking for it. Because social media will get you so frustrated. Because you'll see people in their pictures. Listen, I had a whole wedding photo shoot, and you see these pictures, and people think that is one thing, and at the end of the day, it's fraud.
Yes, it is. Look,
And it's
me and my
fraud
partner had
because
a few misunderstandings already, and in that, it was growth, because that's what relationships are. Relationships are learning one another, figuring out each other, figuring out your quirks and your nuances. But I haven't been able to say this to you in a while, but I want to give you some homework really to your audience as well. Some work to do. This is really easy. And it goes to what we're talking about right now. It is what you were saying with your dog, Jakes. Look, in this moment, here's what you do if you want to start attracting the thing that you want: love, a relationship, a positive person. You start saying, and you got Jinx, so I'm gonna use Jinx as an example. When Jinx comes up to me and shows me affection, I recognize the love in that. Love looks like, and this is you start with something you can identify as love, and then you say, this gets you in the mindset, because now you have a visual of what it is. Love looks like someone running up to me and being excited that I'm near. Love looks like excitement. Love looks like joy. Love feels like peace. Love feels like deep conversations when I just want to be deep for a minute. Love feels like me being goofy and not being judged. And as you start feeling how that feels, just like hearing you say it, like I started feeling something right there. And start feeling the feeling now. Start invoking the feeling now. Start calling it out now. Start feeling it now. See, what you've been feeling is the absence of love feels like depression.
Yep.
The absence of love feels like loneliness. The absence of love feels like apathy. The absence of love feels like I'm not enough. No, the presence of love feels like joy. And as you keep saying it, guess what? When you walk out your house, you will keep saying that. Like I for a while, I wrote it on a sheet of paper, and I would just say it whenever I needed it. And so when I went in rooms, I wasn't negative about the people I was around. I actually had a positive aura. And then I started attracting, actually, a success story is me, because it was one of those moments when I went on a brunch and I met my partner at the brunch, having positive energy, believing that good people were still out there and good people were around, and that love looked like my partner. And there he was.
That's good.
Had I had the negative energy of woe is me, I wouldn't have engaged him. I wouldn't have gotten to know him. I wouldn't have, and so I'm telling you, your homework is to start feeling what you want to feel before you get it. Don't they tell you that in success? Start dressing how you want to, for the role that you want to get.
In church, they talk about it. Y'all know, y'all church folks are watching. They say shout how you want to shout, and dance or give how you want to give and receive. It's about, that's amazing, feeling how you want to feel, and stepping in, because if you continue to feel what you're feeling, the lack, the depression, the despondency, and all this other stuff, it overwhelms you.
It overwhelms you.
Versus the love. If you want to feel loved, you begin to start exposing that energy. And I think feeling that for yourself, you always say this, you attract what you want. So if you're attracting love, making room for love, are you making room for love to come in? You're so busy trying to get to being a husband, do you know what the habits are for being a husband or a wife
Exactly.
or a spouse? Do you know, like you said earlier, about those habits and those loving on yourself, and what happens if we talk about in the vows of marriage, to sickness and health and poor or richer, can you really deal not with the imaginary or the illusion or the thought of poor? Can you deal with my poorness? Can you deal with my sickness and my health? And if you can't, keep it moving. Those are things that that's what that means. And so I am so grateful for the work, and so grateful for just changing that perspective in the energy.
Yes.
Not attached to the goal. So,
Yes.
but I'm so appreciative. We are beyond our time. I thank you so much. Thank you, Bay. I'm not gonna call Bay out, but I'm gonna say thank you, Bay, if they're watching, for allowing you to just be with us and share this space. I think this is an abundance of your vacation. Being able to share your love and your information. I want to just get to a couple more comments, and I want to really wrap up.
Go for it.
Taylor says, oh wait, whoa. I want to go back up. Reality. Good. Very good point, Gary. The reality we're going to hurt no matter what it is, what we do, we learn from it. With love, you're going to, it grows you. Carolyn says, right and ready. Kurt says, exactly, sir, more than real than out there. We were just being reminded of your website, byronjamal.com.
Hey, babe.
Oh, that's hey, babe.
Yeah.
JJ Taylor, I appreciate the conversation as I've been changing myself on how I'm perceived versus who I really am. Until those things match, I'm working on my credit so that when I do attract my mate, I won't have to worry it. I can be the lover my mate needs, and vice versa. That's good. That's
good, brother. That's it.
Love credit. That's really good. Thank you so much, Taylor. Thank you.
Yes.
Vonzel said, this is great. Gary said, love looks like excitement. These are so good. This is so good. That's good. Good energy brings good energy. Yes. Being not to where look will feel what you do, be so you're ready to what you are attracted to. That's good. Being attracted to that. This is so powerful. Thank you so much for the wisdom. Thank you, Gary and Marlon. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you so much. Guys, this is so amazing. Successful love. Before we go, Byron, one of my questions I did have for you is, what's your favorite chapter in this book?
Honestly, my favorite chapter was originally the last chapter. I moved it to the first chapter. It's about the art of successful love, and I believe the reason I like that chapter is it really wraps up everything in the 7 keys of love. And I use the story of the creation story and God's approach to creation. And I'll just give this for those of you who are single and looking for love. The first key is that God saw the darkness and God accepted it. See, God didn't complain about it.
Walk this text.
God didn't go write a memo and tell everybody why there's so much darkness in the world and I can't believe there's not enough light in the world. God accepted that there was darkness, that there was emptiness, that there was a void. And I know you got void in your love life. God accepted it. And God said, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is the state it's in. And God assessed the darkness. God assessed the darkness, but God accepted the darkness. Then God could articulate, key 2, into the darkness. Let there be light. See, you can't speak into anything you don't accept. And this is why a lot of us remain in void places of void, places of lack, places of deficiency when it comes to love, because we don't know how to speak into something we haven't accepted. And many of you haven't accepted simply that you are single. Like, I know you're like, oh, no, there's no reason why I would be single. There's no reason why I would be dark right now. Because look at me, I'm amazing, right? But there's a reason why it's dark. There's a reason why there's no light. And you got to figure that out with yourself. And then you can speak into the light for something to fill a space that you've made space for. So that's that. The next chapter is also good because I love the fact that I don't hurt people's feelings. I make them remember that love is your birthright. And I have to say this. The reason I have to end with this is because a lot of people think they have to earn love. And love is not a reward for good behavior. It is a right earned at birth. You are good enough for love where you are. If you want greater love, you have to level up for the love that you want. But you are good enough for love right
now. Absolutely. It's a birthright. Thank you so much for sharing that. This book is so powerful. One of the things I love about his book is not long, so it's not like he's trying to promote a bunch of fluff. It talks about the different phases of love, of divorce, marriage, engagement, relationship, dating, and singleness. Only thing he was missing was entanglement. But that's
that ain't non, bro. We ain't talking about that.
I just had to say that. But listen, I encourage you. His website is scrolling across. It's Byron Jamal. Please go out and get the book, Successful Love. So again, it's not a long book. It's I'm halfway through it. It's a book that talks about the phases and it helps you to identify some areas for yourself. I think that tonight has been so successful, so rewarding. I appreciate all that you do. Gary said the next one should be, how do you recover when it's over what is ended? I just,
that's in the book.
It's in the book. You want to hear about recovery, we'll talk. That recovery, is just really recovery is really recovering yourself with love. I'm so grateful for those that have tuned in. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, commenting. Our numbers are strong. It doesn't matter if it was 1 or 2 or if this was 0. I appreciate the dialogue and the conversation. I appreciate your gift into the earth. I appreciate the questions, your love and support. I want to encourage people, how can they, again, follow you, support you, and get connected with you? Besides the
I'm so glad to see some familiar faces on today, and so glad to reconnect with you, my brother. Congratulations on doing a great job in this podcast. I'm very happy. I'm sure Bay has been watching clearly, so I know he's been able to see the good stuff that's been said, and we're about to go grab something to eat. So make sure that you follow me in good fashion. I'm on pretty much all social media that makes sense to me right now, which is LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, YouTube as well. Go to my YouTube channel. All past interviews from my heart, where we've been interviewing great people, sharing their love stories and success stories. Go there. But Byron Jamal will connect you to everything. You can find my books, my merchandise, and get some love coaching as well. I'm just glad to help y'all. Look, my goal is to help ordinary people find extraordinary love, because you deserve the love that you seek, and I'm here to help you do that.
Thank you. Awesome. I want to say, y'all, if you're on Instagram, you need to follow him. He does, is it Thursdays and Sundays?
Thursdays and Sundays.
Thursdays and Sundays. Who you have this Thursday and Sunday?
Oh, this Thursday and Sunday, we have 2 dynamic people. We actually have an amazing singer coming up. You can check on my page right now. We also have an amazing Black model, LGBT model. We'll have a lot of those out. And so Kid Fro is coming. He's dynamic. My girl from Memphis will be on Sunday, and she'll be performing a little bit as well. So I'm really excited. That girl can blow. So get ready. We got some good episodes coming up.
Y'all listen, check him out Sundays and Thursdays. Also check out the Mobile in the Making.
Tomorrow night.
On tomorrow night. If you want to be a part of that Mobile in the Making, send me a direct message. There are a couple of you I know, but I will do my good diligence and add you to the group. Mobile in the Making. Tomorrow's night session will be awesome. I'm again appreciative of you being a part with us. ByronJamal.com. Black Boy Joy is all about celebrating the joy that's inside of you. It's not really just about a gender. I know we say black boy, but there is a joy that's on the inside of you that is bubbling up, and you got to connect with that joy. And I'm so glad that people are tuned in with us tonight. Check us out on Black Boy Joy Conversations. Last thing I want to tell you is Black Boy Joy Tribe is out full effect. We'll be posting some of Byron's stuff, some of his comments and quotes and things like that. It's Black Boy Joy Tribe. Join us on Facebook. And thank you again for watching and supporting and sharing tonight. Love you. I'm living in my Black Boy Joy. I hope you are too.